Hi spooky friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Livy and in today's video we're going to be talking about my all-time favorite Halloween / spooky season movies. So I've got a big list of them, and on the side I will be showing the different categories, and then I'll be giving a few facts about each movie. So let me grab my handy dandy notebook and we'll get started. I am also sipping on some nice warm hazelnut coffee. Right now So we recently just moved into a new house in a new city and a new state, and I finally kind of got settled in, and I know I'm filming this video a little bit late. It's already October 6th, but I wanted to make sure to get some content out for you guys so that you can get in the spooky season spirit. So, all right, let me just turn to my page. I feel like I'm like speaking at an event, because I have a notebook in front of me. I won't read off of it because I do know a lot of these movies that I like, but I do need a couple of reminders as well because there's a lot of them. Okay, so just to go over the different categories that I broke them into, the first category will start nice and lighthearted. It is the kid-friendly flicks. We also have the classics, and then some of the lesser-known favorites. So all these movies you may have heard of. These are just movies that I grew up on loving throughout, early to mid 90s, and then growing up a little bit more and enjoying them even more than I did when I was little. So I'm sure you've heard of quite a few of these movies, but I just wanted to go over them and kind of give you guys my list of favorite Halloween time movies. So, all right, so we're gonna kind of start it out with the most obvious, my all-time favorite. I'm one of those people. If you're born in the 90s and you grew up with this movie, like me and my brother were talking, we thought we were the only ones that knew this movie growing up. Back from 93, Hocus Pocus. Obviously, everybody knows what Hocus Pocus is. You see it on Freeform like a million times every year. You see it in Spirit Halloween, it's on Disney+, but at the time when Hocus Pocus came out in 1993, the summer of 1993, my birth year, best year ever, the movie actually was not a big hit. It was directed by Kenny Ortega, who also directed High School Musical. Totally different movies. You can see a little bit how he enjoys the musical side of things, but I really enjoy the look of Hocus Pocus a lot more than kind of the kitschiness of High School Musical. And Kenny Ortega is a big Disney director. He's directed quite a few things, but for me, I think this is his best work. Along with an amazing cast, Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker. There's some really good ones in there. I'm a huge fan of Billy as well. Last year, I picked up that severed Billy head from Spirit Halloween, and he's actually currently on my porch right over there. I stuffed some clothes with like pillows and extra stuffing so to make it look like it was like a body. And then I put Billy's head on top of it and have him sitting on my porch. And about once a day when I'm out there just decorating or something, somebody stops by and says how much they enjoy seeing my guy on the porch. So Billy's getting a lot of attention out there. But my favorite scene from the whole movie is anything with the town hall. I've always wanted to live in a small town like that where there is a big Halloween party at like a town hall. So maybe one day I'll move into a tinier town and get to experience something like that. And if you guys are wondering about this shirt, I did actually pick this up on Amazon. It's a Sanderson Sister Witch Museum shirt. I think it was like $12 to $15. It is the softest material. I cannot express how much I like this shirt. I get compliments on it all the time when I'm out like grocery shopping or out at like a fair or craft fair, something like that. So this is a great, great shirt. If you guys want to pick it up, I'll put the Amazon link down below. Obviously not sponsored or anything like that. I just really love this shirt, and it comes in a bunch of different colors, but I thought this kind of muted heathered green would be really pretty for the season. Continuing on with the list, obviously another 1993 favorite of mine, Nightmare Before Christmas. I absolutely love this movie. This was another one I grew up on just being obsessed with. And a little bit later today, I think I'm gonna try and do a Sally makeup look. I actually found a Sally costume at Goodwill recently, and people have been asking for that makeup for a while. So here's hoping it turns out well. I think it's gonna be kind of a tough one, but I'm really excited about it. So another good one. Halloween Town's on that list. A couple others. Addams Family I've always been obsessed with, just the love between Morticia and Gomez. is really sweet to me. Hopefully I get to grow up and be like that when I'm older, and I'll find my Gomez and we can live in a haunted mansion together. But I've always loved that movie as well. And then actually two more. One that you may not have heard of, or you may haven't heard of it since you were teeny tiny, is When Good Ghouls Go Bad. It's got Christopher Lloyd in it, and it's a great movie. So if you haven't seen that one in a while, try to watch it. It's difficult because it's really not on any of the streaming platforms. But essentially, Christopher Lloyd is like this kooky uncle that this kid has, and he ends up dying and then kind of coming back and haunting the kid. And the kid needs to solve a town mystery about this kind of evil spirit in the town. And the truth comes out. So his uncle helps him kind of solve that. And it's such a good movie. Like, it's campy and kooky and fun. But I remember loving that as a kid. I try to watch it every couple of years now too. And then the last one on my kid-friendly flicks is Double Double Toil and Trouble. I love this movie. I love the Olsen twins. I was a huge Mary-Kate and Ashley fan growing up. And this one is so cute. They're really little in the movie, and kind of the premise of it is that them and their parents go and visit I think it's their like great aunt who's kind of evil. And the girls discover that their aunt has been hiding a secret. And along their journey, they meet some fun characters and some spooky characters to solve where their other aunt went to. So that was a bad synopsis. It's hard to explain. It's adorable. Just watch it. If you've ever grown up on any Mary-Kate and Ashley, that Christmas grandma one, if you like that one, I think you'll like this as well. So, and it's got Cloris Leachman in it as like the scary aunt. So that's already really fun that it's got some good actors in it. Alrighty, so now we're moving on to the classics. What I mean by the classics, I'm not necessarily talking about like old school Dracula or Frankenstein or The Mummy. I'm talking about more things that my parents and their generation were raised on that they showed me and my brother when we were younger. Probably too young to watch these scary movies, but nonetheless, my parents, especially my dad, was always into Halloween and showing us all those scary movies. So I got to see quite a few of them at a young age. First and foremost, Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween. I just absolutely love the like vintage look of it, or the simplicity of it. It was shot primarily in Pasadena, California, and shot in the summertime. So the leaves that you see blowing past in different scenes are kind of fall time leaves. Some of them are brown. After each scene, they had to rake all those up and put them back in a bag and then throw them back into the next scene. So I love this movie. I'm so excited for the Halloween Kills coming out in just like a week or so, October 15th. I know that it's going to be in theaters, but I think I'll probably actually stream it on Peacock. And I might do a little streaming party as well, because I am very excited for this. I think it's interesting that after the last Halloween in 2018, which I loved, we weren't really sure if that was going to be the last one. It kind of ended in, a good way. Once you saw the ending, you kind of knew cliffhanger, looks like he's dead, but you're not sure. And then a few months later, Jamie Lee Curtis started posting on her Instagram about Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So it's interesting going into this one, knowing that it's going to end with a cliffhanger. Like, we know there's a third one to finish out the trilogy of all these. So I'm excited to see it. The reviews have not been great, but I feel like reviews don't always love scary movies anyway. So this one I'm super excited for. I just rewatched the original 1978 that falls into my list of classics. Just to get ready for the next one. So obviously on this list, we've got Ghostbusters. I've always been a fan. A little fun anecdote. I remember my parents, I was in my playroom growing up, and my parents got in this really big fight because my dad let us watch Ghostbusters, and I was probably like 3 or 4. And my mom was so upset because it was just too scary for us at the time. Like, it's not necessarily a scary movie, but there definitely is imagery that's, scary for small children. And my dad's like, well, it's PG. Like, so I have always loved this movie. There were scenes that scared the tar out of me when I was little, and now I just appreciate so much the humor in it. And just all the imagery is really great. So that one's on this list. One that I like to watch every year, and it's probably one of my all-time favorite movies, Poltergeist from 1982. If you've never seen Poltergeist, the best way to explain it is everything spiritual is slammed into one movie. You've got a possessed tree, a scary clown. You've got ghosts, you have zombies, you have a little kid, a little girl in a television speaking to you. This movie scared the shit out of me when I was little. I remember watching it and just thinking like, oh my God, like I'm gonna hear a little girl crying out for help when I have like TV static on in the background. Like you're just gonna hear it and you're gonna see the static on it and know she's in there. She's in some other dimension stuck, you know? So that movie, I have chills right now talking about it. I love this movie. I love the kind of theme song in it. I love that the house is, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin why all this stuff is happening to this family. But if you haven't watched it, watch it. Don't watch the new one. I mean, you can afterwards, but definitely watch the original. It's got a really good cast. And it's kind of sad because that little girl actually passed away, I think after the second or third one from cancer. So I just like to watch that movie and kind of get reminded of how great of a movie it is, how good the actors are. And it's just a fun storyline. It's so spooky. I love it. And my roommate actually just sent me something on Instagram the other day about the scene when the mom is in the where the swimming pool is going to go, this big mud pit, and a bunch of the skeletons come up and kind of start to rise from the dirt. The fact said that it was cheaper at the time for them to buy real skeletons than to get fake ones to shoot this. So that's what they are. And I think that is just, it makes my skin crawl and I love it. Like it's terrifying. That scene, it just always creeps me out. She's just covered in like water and mud and then there's skeletons and flesh and blood. So good. Just rewatched Beetlejuice the other day. That obviously has to go on this list. And I think I'm going to be doing a Delia Dietz look sometime this week for my Instagram. This movie, not only has it aged super well, it is so much funnier than I remember as a kid. I think the humor is just hysterical. Like, especially Delia and her husband. I don't know why his name isn't coming to me. And even Lydia, just her dark side. But Delia, there's one scene where they just moved into the house and she says something, they're eating Chinese food and she's like, I can't believe we're eating Cantonese. Is there no Szechuan up here? Like the yuppiness of her character is so good. She's just on edge at any moment she can crack, and that cracks me up so much. Like I absolutely love it. So I got this fun kind of 80s style dress and some black gloves, and I'll do her hair kind of from the dinner scene with the shrimp gloves, the shrimp claws. So I might have to see if I can make a shrimp claw and recreate that movie scene because it's iconic. It's so great. Okay, also on this list of classics is Child's Play. This movie, when I was little, I was so afraid of dolls, and I think this was a big reason for it. Chucky is just so creepy, but I love Chucky. Like I've done 2 Chucky costumes in the past 2 years for like a sexy version of a scary Chucky. This movie is very scary. I started watching the new one a few months ago. I couldn't even get through it. So if you like that one, I'm sorry, it's not for me. I am very excited about the TV show coming out though, in like 2 weeks or so. It seems like it's gonna be really good. I know other people who are really excited for it, so hopefully it lives up to all the jazz about it. My other one that falls under classics that I just always have to put on the list, not only because I love the movie, but the book is just terrifying, and that's The Shining. It's really great. I know it's a slow movie. A lot of people are like, it's too slow, it's boring. If you've read the book, you understand the buildup and the backstory and the depth of the characters, and the movie really does a good job of that. Not everybody feels the same way that I do about it, but that movie for me is so scary. And if you've seen the movie and then you're reading the book, you have these images in your head just of Jack Torrance and how his face, how angry it can get, and how he just kind of turns into this dark, menacing thing. And that the hotel itself has its own presence. Like it's just so overarching creepy. If you had to put yourself in that situation where you were stuck in a hotel, that's haunted and you can't leave for months on end, again, I have goosebumps talking about it. Like, the idea is scary. So I absolutely love that movie. Shelley Duvall, she's a little bit much in it. I know kind of later down the road, filming some of those scenes actually did take a toll on her mental health. So I appreciate the heart that she put into it. But overall, I still love that movie, and I'm a big Jack Nicholson fan. Okay, and then my last, turn the page. My last category is lesser known favorites. Some of these you will definitely know. Some of them used to kind of be cult favorites, and now they have big followings. The first one that comes to mind with that is Trick or Treat. Love this movie. I remember when it came out, I think I saw it in 2009, and it was shot in 2007, but it didn't premiere right away. Like, there was some delay, and it came out as an independent film. I don't remember the backstory of why it was so delayed, but the second I watched it, I fell in love with it. I love stories that are kind of each individual plot lines that tie in somehow, even if it's just a passing in the street, or a character that knows another character ends up, you know, being introduced to another character, but their plot lines are so separate. I absolutely love that. So this one's one of my all-time favorite movies. My favorite scene is when Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams starts playing and all of the werewolf women are in the forest just eating men. I absolutely love that. I love kind of the feminist take on that it's all these beautiful, sexy women that are powerful and secretly werewolves. Like, it's unexpected and it's fun. And, you know, these men think like, ooh, I'm gonna get some on Halloween. And it's like, joke's on you, you're getting eaten. I love it. It's so fun. And every character in that scene, like, there's a cheerleader that has cute like pigtails and a white top, and she like rips the skin off of her like leg so that the hair can be exposed so that her werewolf leg comes out. It's so great. So another lesser known favorite of mine, you may never heard of, it's called Bordello of Blood, and it's got Angie Everhart in it. I think it was shot in like 97. If you don't know who Angie Everhart is, she was a supermodel in the 90s. Absolutely gorgeous, kind of like a dark auburn hair, you know, really tall, really pretty. And this movie is about some guys that are kind of looking for like a brothel, and they see this dude in a bar, and he's like, oh, go to this brothel. He's the kind of this like drugged out guy, and they go over there, and it's a brothel of female vampires. So I guess I have a trend that I like sexy, scary female characters, but Angie Everhart is like the lead vampire, and pretty much people just try to escape. There's like a reporter, there's a couple reporters that are trying to figure out what happens and not get eaten by these vampires. And there's like a preacher in it who's like a bad guy too. So it's a good movie. Just watch it. It's really campy. It's super fun. It's shot like Creepshow, or not even Creepshow. It's shot like Tales of the Crypt. I think it's actually called Tales of the Crypt, Bordello of Blood. So the beginning is like, you know, your crypt keeper kind of retelling a story, and then it moves on into the movie. So that's a fun one. I think it might be on Amazon Prime. Definitely check it out. Another one on here that I haven't been able to find since I was little, but kind of going along with the Chucky theme, is My Teacher Ate My Homework. And I don't remember much of the plot line, except for the fact that there was like a doll that had dark hair, and her hair was like in a bun, and she kind of dressed like a old school teacher, kind of like midi length skirt and like a button down. And she was like a possessed doll. And this kid kept getting in trouble, and nobody believed him that this doll was like possessed. So if you've heard of My Teacher Ate My Homework, if you can find that movie and comment down below where you found it, I want to rewatch it because I'm sure I'm not remembering it correctly, but I was so terrified of that movie growing up. So that one falls on my list of lesser known favorites because I've never heard of anybody else who knew that movie besides me and my brother. Also on here, we've got Blair Witch Project. I like the original. People know Blair Witch Project, but that's one that I just remember popping the VHS tape in at home when I was home alone and just totally getting spooked out by that. So love that. The last three on here, I'm sure you've heard of Lost Boys. It follows a boy and his brother and mother who move to a new town. He ends up meeting a girl at a carnival and kind of the gang of guys that the girl hangs around with. The head vampire is Kiefer Sutherland, and essentially Michael, the main character, ends up being turned into a vampire. It's supposed to take place in Santa Clarita, California, and that's supposed to be like the murder capital of the world. Super 80s, really fun. Love that movie. Another one that it's actually not on my list, but we just watched it the other day is Flatliners. Same director as Lost Boys, has Kiefer Sutherland in it, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, and a few others. And they are doctors, like in college or something. And Kiefer Sutherland decides that he wants to be killed and brought back to life to figure out what's there in the afterlife. And him and his group of other doctor friends, Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, and a couple others, decide that they want to do it as well. And what happens is they each one by one take their turn on the table, dying and being brought back to life, but they bring back some pretty scary things with them as well. So that's a good one. Just kind of had to throw that in here because I'd never heard of it, and I thought it was really, really good. And then Monster Squad is another one of my all-time favorite movies ever. I know it's on Amazon Prime right now. It's about a boy and his friends that are in like a monster group. They love like monster comics and knowing facts about different monsters and stuff.
2 ways to kill a werewolf.
Silver bullet?
And?
That's it. Shoot him with a silver bullet.
Nope. Sorry, Rudy.
And what happens is Dracula comes to town with Frankenstein, the mummy, Fishman, and werewolf. And nobody believes this group of guys that they're in town, they're trying to take over. And so they use a Van Helsing diary to eradicate the evil monsters from their town. So that one's really, really fun. Super 80s, really good music in it. Okay, and then the last one on this, I'm looking at this list, this lesser known favorites. Anybody who knows any like campy horror movies is probably knows most of this list. So these aren't like movies you've never heard of. They're just ones that aren't as popular that I love. But the original Fright Night, really, really good movie, really fun gore. What happens is a boy lives with his single mother. He's got a girlfriend in town and a vampire moves in next door. And he's trying to convince everybody that this guy is a vampire. This guy ends up kind of going after his girlfriend and turning her into a vampire as well.
Lied by something not human. Something horrifying. Something unspeakably evil. No one believes you.
Mom, I didn't have a nightmare.
Not your mom.
They did kill a girl over there.
Not your girlfriend.
Charlie, is this some sort of a trick to get me back?
Not even the police.
Look, I know it's crazy.
So he has to find somebody who can help him kill this vampire. Most of these are 80s or early 90s movies that I like to watch this time of year. I do like new movies as well, newer movies. For some reason, the 80s really get me. There's so many fun horror movies at that time. Horror, these aren't even horror. They're scary movies, spooky movies, Halloween time movies. Couple more I just want to throw in off the bat because I've watched them recently. The Ring. If you haven't seen The Ring in a while, watch it. Like, I forgot the depth of the plot in The Ring. You think they watch a videotape, they get a call saying they're gonna die. Then, you know, you realize it's about a scary girl and the backstory of that girl. It's like, oh, this is what happened to her. Her parents were bad. Okay, and then it just shifts. It's like, you just keep thinking, oh, that's the answer. And then there's more to it. It's got so much more to it than I ever remember. And it's scary. It's still scary to me. Like, it's eerie. Like, the imagery in the videotape it's good. I also just rewatched The Omen from 2006. They didn't have the original free on Amazon Prime, so I rewatched the one with Julia Stiles, and that one still holds up pretty well. It's pretty fun, about a boy who's supposed to be like the Antichrist, and he ends up trying to kill his parents and his family, and there are people who are like protecting him because they know he's the Antichrist. So If you haven't seen that or you haven't seen it in a while, give that one a watch because it's on Amazon Prime. Well, I think that might conclude my list. I'm sure there's a million others that I just cannot think of right now. I think horror and scary, spooky movies are my all-time favorite genre. So if you guys just want to comment down below what your favorite Halloween time movies are, or just favorite spooky movies in general, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get some ideas of some other ones that maybe I haven't seen or haven't watched in a while. And thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I know I haven't actually recorded too many Halloween time videos, as I promised. Moving in took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I appreciate you tuning in and staying in touch, and I'll try to get some more content out for you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.